Okay, it's Brandon.
It's Brandon. Hi guys.
Welcome
to
another episode
of
Brandon. Thanks everyone for tuning in once again.
Well, welcome back everybody. I first wanted to say thanks to everybody who listened to the first show and gave us feedback. It was very much appreciated, and we thank you, and we hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel and to keep listening to what we here at Branded have to discuss.
Yes, share, follow, like, subscribe. All of the social media networks.
I'm excited.
Yeah, what are you excited about, Brittany?
I'm excited about this week's topic.
Oh, you know I like all of the topics that you come up with, Brittany.
I didn't come up with this topic.
I know that's something different.
Yeah.
So we decided to enlist some help from our social media people, our followers, our friends that we hold so dear to our hearts.
Right.
Who blessed us with the topic for this week, Brittany?
Her name is Dion Joe. That's her Facebook name. She gave us the lovely topic of what we're going to discuss today. So the topic is 5 questions you should know the answer to before saying I do.
Y'all get that? 5 questions you should know the answer to before saying I do. Meaning, if somebody were to ask you these questions about your spouse, you should know the answer to them before you didn't decide to marry that person.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go first.
Okay, so both Brittany and I separately made a list of what we think our 5 things are. And what makes Branded so wonderful is how different both Brittany and I are. So, mine, number 1, I need to make sure I know how we're going to raise our children together. Because if I'm going to marry you, I need to be able to know what you say is okay, not okay for our children. Boys, girls, anything like that. We need to know how we're going to do that as one family. So we can, have a equal unit with our children. We got to present ourselves on the equal team. Otherwise, they come at you. They try to divide you. So I've heard. I ain't got no kids. The second thing I want to know is, what are your political views? Did you vote for Donald Trump? I don't want to marry no Trump supporter. I'm just saying. I need to be able to know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, if another baby Trump were to come from out of nowhere 10 years from now, that you might not want to think about voting for him. I'm just saying. Gotta know that about you.
That's number 2, right?
That's number 2.
So what's number 3?
Number 3 is your religious views.
You're so serious.
I mean, this is a person I'm about to spend the rest of my life with. Do I not need to know this stuff?
Yeah, you do, but
are these
totally different from my list?
Top 5?
Totally different.
Maybe there's other things on this list, but I put the top 5 things. Like, if I don't know these, then I can't marry you. Whereas there's some other things that I may or may not know, and I find out later that I have to deal with. But if I don't know these, then I cannot.
So these are the big boys.
Yeah, these are the top 5. So number 3 was your religious views. Who do you believe in? What do you believe in?
Number
4, your family background as far as your medical background. Is there any mental illnesses in your family? Am I gonna have a little baby with 3 eyes? Like, I don't need no 3-eye babies.
So if your potential spouse had I don't know what the correct term to use, but let's just say they were retarded.
That's the term you chose?
Is that not the appropriate word?
No, I've used it already. Mental illness, like you just heard me say it.
Okay. Well, mental illness in regards to retardation, that will bother you?
It wouldn't necessarily bother me, but I would need to know what to expect. Like, I would need to know what steps I need to take to try to prevent that from happening to my seed. Like, is there something that I can do to keep that from happening? Because if I didn't know about it, then there's no precautions that are taken. And the last one is number 5, which is, what are the reasons you would get a divorce? There's not many reasons why I would get a divorce, so I would want us to be on the same page with those. Just
so you
to
believe in divorce?
Not wholeheartedly. That's why I'm saying there's not many reasons, because literally, like maybe two, somebody might present a third to me that I might be like, okay, that makes sense. But right now in my head, there's two reasons only why I would get a divorce. So if he has other reasons that I don't know nothing about, we need to discuss those and come to some sort of agreement as to why he think divorce is acceptable.
Or even an option.
Right, exactly. So, those are my 5. Thank you. Brittany.
I'm trying not to laugh this episode because clearly on the first episode, Randy had me.
You can laugh, Brittany.
Rolling.
I don't understand why she's fighting it.
This is what I deal with on an everyday basis.
Are we not having fun here, guys?
Real life friends. So yeah, like Randy said, my 5 things are completely different from hers. So my number 1 is, do you have kids? And what I mean by that is people are out here living double lives. Like, so you can have a whole live relationship with me, and you can have about 10 kids that I have no idea about. So
okay.
I need to know if you got some unwanted children. I need to see some documentation or something to let me know that you ain't got no kids, or if we already have a child together, that that we can just deal with that. So number 2 is, have you ever been married? I feel like that is a very important question, simply because if the person has already been married before, then like with Randy's last question, why would divorce even be, an option? So if you've been married before, what actually took place into y'all had to come to an agreement to where divorce was your way out? Number 3, would your parents and would my parent give us blessings? Because I'm so traditional. Like, if you don't have my parents' blessings, there's no marriage. Like, I mean, my parents are my best friends. So if they don't feel like we are compatible or that we are actually going to see each other as one, then that's very important to me. And also how his family would view me, and if they would feel like, I'm the right one for him. So just having that support system is very important to me as well. I would need to know if both sides were to give us blessings before I said I do. 4th question, I would need to see your penis. Like, I would need to know if it's big enough for me to live with for the rest of my life.
No, like, is that really the question?
Yes, I guess the question would be, let me see your penis.
That's not a question.
That's not a question? Let me see your penis?
What question start with let?
Well, can I see your penis?
That's a question.
I mean, because there's people out here who haven't had sex, they still have their virginity. So maybe that should be a question that you ask.
Dion, I hope you're listening.
Can I see your penis?
I want to know what you think of our questions at the end of this.
But yeah, can I see your penis? And is your sex good?
That's one question, by the way. That's the same question.
Yeah, that's the same question. My last question I would ask would be, have you had any STIs or Ds, which are transmitted sexual infections or diseases, and how many, if you've had those, and have those been treated and things of that nature?
So those are your 5?
Those are my 5.
I have a question to follow up your 5.
Okay.
So are these like deal breaker questions? Because it seems to me like if we were to reverse these questions a little bit, it would be like, if I find out you had STD, I'm leaving you.
No.
If I find out that your sex is bad, I'm leaving you. If I find out that you got some extra kids that I don't know about, we not getting married. Like, is that what these are?
So number 1, which was, do you have any kids? No, that's not a deal breaker. I just would need to know. Number 2, have you ever been married before? It's very close to being a deal breaker. The reason I say that, because I just want to be the first. So that would definitely need a lot of attention too. Number 3, yeah, that's definitely a deal breaker. If your parents does not give us their blessings to marry, we're not getting married. 4, deal breaker, definitely. Penis size, great sex, definitely a deal breaker. Because if your penis is not the size that it's supposed to be, or to my likings, I'm sorry, sir, we cannot get married. And I do not say I do. Mm-hmm. I say no.
No. I do not.
Number 5 is not a deal breaker because things happen. It's just like number 1. I would just need.
Okay. Do y'all see how vastly different our 5 are?
Yeah, because we're different.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if we took the question differently. Like, what happened there? Did we take it like 2 different ways?
Yeah, I think I took it different ways because, I mean, I feel like she's asking before I say I do, not necessarily before I actually get into a relationship. Or it could be you're in a relationship and just before you make that next commitment. Because being in a relationship with somebody and then marrying that person is totally 2 different things. Like, being in a relationship and being married to somebody are 2 different levels because at that point you're spiritually bonded as one. Whereas when you're in a relationship, you're still considered as just 2 individuals.
Right, that's how I took the question, because it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't about if we get in a relationship, it's about if we're going to get married. So I feel like your questions were more so like yes or no surface questions. Have you had an STD? Yes or no. Do you have any kids? Yes or no. Have you been married? Yes or no. Like, I want to know who you are. Like, I want to be able to know what decisions you might potentially make 20 years from now before I marry you. That's why my questions were. That's how I took the topic. And I think we definitely took it differently.
So, same question for you. Are any of your 5 deal breakers?
You mean like if we're not on the same page on those things?
Yeah.
If we're not on the same page on all of those things,
and remind the people what those are.
The first one was how we're going to raise our children, your political views, your religious views, your medical, physical background, and the reasons why you'll get a divorce. Like, if we can't see eye to eye on all of those things, then we cannot be married.
So let me just give you an example. So let's just say you're a Democrat and you meet somebody, he's everything you've dreamed of, and he just so happened to be a Republican. You're going to stop it right then and there? Like, what of these are these first date questions?
Which party you associate with is not your political views. Like, that's not it. I didn't say which party you associate with. I want to know your political views. Like, do you believe in abortion or no? Like, do you believe in keeping people that have lived their whole lives in this country out of this country or no? Like, those are political views. Like, what party you associate yourself with is not my question.
So what if they were different? That's my question. So they were different.
Yeah, if they're different, we're gonna get into it on a regular basis, and I couldn't live like that for the rest of my life. All of mine are deal breakers. Every single one.
Yeah, all of mine were deal breakers. And then we want to know what your 5 are. Like, are they any similar to me and Randy's, or what would yours be? And for everybody out there else who's listening, what is your 5 top questions that you would need to know before you say I do? And guys, I would love to hear yours.
Yes.
Like, because these are all women's perspectives, and I know we have some guy listeners out there, so definitely, you guys are human too, so there's probably some deal breakers out there for you that you probably want to let us know about and see if me and Randy agree.
Comment.
I totally agree with Randy's. Not necessarily I would ask those things, because not that they're not important, but I feel like love is blind.
And it'll take over your mind. All right.
And those things such as political views and religious views, people could possibly overcome those things and have a level field. Yeah, I feel like people do that all the time.
I feel like those are cores of who people are.
I've seen plenty of reality TV to where people have different religions and they get married and they make it work, or people who have different political views and they just make it work. But yeah, if those are deal breakers for you, then
and I didn't say we gotta have the same religion. See, that's not, I didn't say are you a Christian? Like, that, you realize I didn't word it that way, because that is not what I care about. Like, I want to know how you feel about religion. Like, I want to know what your faith is like, what you holding on to, who you praying to, how we gonna get through this, you and I together, because we got to have some strength coming from somewhere. So who you talking to? Because whoever you praying to, they in this thing too. So
right, well, that concludes our topic of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed, and like we stated before, definitely comment and give us your 5 questions that you would definitely ask your significant other before you say I do.
Yes.
So what's next, Randy?
Thanks again, Dion. Well, our next segment is going to be a segment that we did not necessarily do on the first show, but did we introduce it at the end?
Yeah, we definitely introduced it, and we told you guys that we were going to start doing these segments once we got more people involved with Branded. What is this segment called?
This segment is called Secret Status.
Ooh.
So basically, Secret Status is a segment where people will send us anonymous emails as if they're statuses. So as if we are Facebook. We're Facebook, we're Twitter, and you're posting on our wall, and this is your status. You did not want to post it on standard social media. You did not want to share it with your friends and family. You wanted us to talk about it here on Branded because you trust us.
Right.
Because me and Brittany got all the best advice you could ever need.
We do. We are the best. So you need advice? Come to Branded.
And send us your email. What's our email, Brittany, real quick?
brandedpod@gmail.com.
brandedpod@gmail.com. That's where you need to send your secret status to. But we have our very first secret status submission. It comes from an anonymous email of OH Stylist. So don't you send no emails to OH Stylist now.
Don't send no emails to OH Stylist. It's anonymous, so she probably won't even respond back. So what does she need advice about?
Okay, so OH Stylist writes to us saying, well, the question is, do I keep my baby from her father if he is being rude and disrespectful towards me? She gives us a little bit of background, says, my daughter is 3 years old and I don't know for sure, but I think her dad may be feeding her false facts about me. I think he may be trying to alter how my daughter feels about me. Do I tell him that he has to respect me before I can let him see her again, even if I'm against taking a daughter out of her father's life, or continue to let him see her on his days, not court-appointed visits, in parentheses, and not deal with him personally? So we have a double question here, Brittany. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Okay, so let's play back what she asked. Okay, so the first question is, do I keep my baby from her father if he's being disrespectful and rude towards me? My opinion towards that first question is no, simply because he has the right to see his child. If y'all do not have any type of court involved, he should still be able to see his child anytime he wants to. Now, as far as the second question goes, which is, do I tell him that he has to respect me before I let him see her again, even if I'm against taking my daughter out of her father's life? Yeah, that's kind of tricky, because I don't feel that a father should be taken out of his daughter's life because of the relationship between the mother and the father. The mother and the father need to learn how to respect each other, of course, because you guys have something in common, which is the child. So you as the mother don't have a right to stop her from seeing her dad, and he as a father should respect you as the mother of his child. But if he's not doing that, then there just needs to be other things done or put in place. What that is, I don't know, because I don't know you guys personally, but let's say, for instance, if he's disrespecting you, or like my question to you is, what type of things is he telling the child? I would need to know facts when it comes to that. Like, what is he actually telling this 3-year-old, and is she coming back telling you what daddy said? Or because if that's the case, that's your proof that, you know, he's stating those things. But at the same time, there needs to be a sit down, and you need to tell him either you're straightened up, or then we're going to have to get the court involved, because then it comes to a time where you don't feel your child is being safe around her father. Because he could be, what if he's telling her other things, but those things that she's coming back telling you is just all what she remembers. And he's possibly telling her other things, but she doesn't remember those things, and then later on remember those things, or, you know, for whatever reason. But
what
yeah,
if
that's really sticky. I witnessed him telling my child mean things about me?
What if, or it was an argument or something, and the child was around and he was disrespecting you? Wow.
In what way?
Like calling you
with words?
Like, what if that was happening? You know me. I'm going to be you on this episode. I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. So let's just say that y'all were in a situation. There was the three of y'all and y'all's daughter who is a competent 3-year-old, I would assume, she is around and he continues to be disrespectful towards you right there in her presence. So you assume that when you're not around,
he treating my daughter like that.
Yeah, that, or even that, and still being disrespectful or saying disrespectful things about you, and or treating your daughter like that when you're not around.
Yeah, that's tough because, I mean, as a parent, I would never want to get the court involved in my situation whatsoever. But when it's becoming like that and you've done all you can do as a parent, which, like I said before, y'all done had sit downs, y'all done had multiple conversations to where he knows that's not right and he's still doing it, then maybe you do need some reinforcement from someone higher, such as the courts, because that's just unsafe for a 3-year-old to hear you disrespect her mom like that, because then she's gonna grow up thinking that that's okay, and that's not okay. I completely understand to why the mother will want to not have her child around the father if he's talking like that, because what if he's talking like that around the child and not about you, but just talking to the child like that, and and you don't ever want to put your child in an unsafe environment.
Exactly.
So that's my opinion.
Brittany and I see eye to eye on this, mainly because, like Brittany said, you, OH Stylist, and the relationship that you have with your baby's father, how he feels about you does not matter. However, your daughter is also a little girl, and if he could talk to you that way, the mother of his child, then he can be disrespectful towards his own child. So you don't want to subject her to possibly having to experience anything like that from him, or to be able to see him treat you like that and expect it or accept it later on when she grows up and she's in a relationship. She don't want to. You don't want your daughter to be able to look at her father and your relationship and say, well, my mom let this man call her all types of B's and all types of stuff like that, so I guess that I can do that as well. Like, you don't want that because you have a daughter. So I don't think that he shouldn't be involved in your child's life, but like Brittany said, and there needs to be some sort of court mandation going on there. And if
maybe he needs some supervised visits.
Exactly. If it needs to be some, if you're worried, if you're truly concerned, if you truly feel in your heart that he may be doing something like this behind your back, like talking to your daughter that way, or making it seem acceptable to talk that way, right, to talk that way at all around her, then
yeah, that's not good.
Get some supervision popping.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, y'all need to be living for your child, and y'all need to do what's best for the child. And like Randy stated, it doesn't really matter how he feels about you, but at the end of the day, you have to make sure your child is safe. And if you feel that your child is not safe due to the fact on how he treats you when he even has her around, then yeah, something has to change. But first, before getting, courts involved and things like that, see if you can handle it. Like, have you guys had these discussions? Have you guys had a sit down, or had people that you both trust, and like have like a middle person who you guys both respect, so you both can see where the other one is coming from and get to the bottom to why he talks to you like that in the first place. Like, does he resent you? What is he mad about? Like, that's the question. Why are you so mad? Why do you feel like you have to talk to me like that? Was it something that I've done? Is it something that I can change? I mean, it's all about communication at the end of the day, because that's what the court's going to do.
Do you miss me? Are you bitter? Are you just some bitter person who wishes that you could have me back,
that's what the courts are going to do. I mean, cut the middleman out.
You decide that you want to just disrespect me on a regular basis, like a little.
Because let me give you an example. You know how you can you could be out. You know how us girls are. We could just be out minding our business out in the day, and the guy wants to talk to you, and you like shut him down completely, and he gets mad.
Exactly. That is this situation times 3,000.
He gets mad. Start calling you all types of B's and hoes, and I'm talking about bees like we can't curse.
Right.
But yeah, start calling you all type of, hoes and stuff like that, all because he couldn't get your number. So at the end of the day, I just feel like as a parent, try the communication, try to find out why he's so mad, and see if that works. But definitely don't keep him from his child, because that's not fair. Everybody has a right to their children unless otherwise, and the otherwise comes from the courts. And I don't agree that you should bring the courts into it unless you have to. Like, that should be your last result. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we hoped you got some help from her. We hoped you got some help.
Right.
We hope that you were assisted in either any kind of way from us, OH Stylists. Thank you so much for your secret status. Please, other people out there, other listeners, please send us your secret status.
We know y'all got issues.
We will do our best to comment, give you our opinion on what two young black ladies
gotta say
about what you got going on in your life. And we'll keep it anonymous. We're pronymous. You see how I rhymed again?
Yes.
They can't stop me. Okay, real quick, we're going to do one last segment.
What segment are we doing?
Fair game.
Okay.
We're going to do this as our fair game segment. So I know everyone is well versed or at least have heard a little bit of something about this ban that y'all's president, because he ain't mine, y'all's president has put on refugees when it comes to coming into this country.
I'm just saying, if you're going to come over to America and leave the American dream, which is work your way to be successful, just do it the right way and don't get mad if you're doing it the wrong way and get caught. That's all I'm saying.
And all I'm saying is good luck, and I hope you get home safely to your kids. And anybody who's stuck in the airport whose little baby is at home wondering where their mama or daddy at, I hope that you get home to them safely. Is this the end of our show?
I guess this is it.
All right. So thank you once again for tuning in to Branded, and we will talk to y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Outro to the Branded Show.